If you're an e-commerce brand owner who needs to get more sales and more profit for their business in 2026, this is the YouTube video that you need to watch, because I'm going to be breaking down the exact campaign structures and settings that we use for success right now with Google Ads in 2026. Right now, we are undergoing the biggest change that we've seen in Google Ads for a long time, and it's got nothing to do with what's happening inside of Google Ads. The change is actually getting driven by the user behavior. I'm sure by now you've seen the AO overviews and AO mode, which is happening inside of Google search now. This is drastically changing the way that people are interacting with search, and we're already starting to see the click-through ratios and the number of clicks that brands are getting drastically reduced. Because what I want you to think about is historically, especially for e-commerce brands, that not only would you have the strip of shopping ads across the top, you then have those search ads. These ads are now going to be appearing in AI overviews and AI mode. So it's really, really important that you not only have the right campaign types, the right structure, but you're also using the right bidding and right keyword functionality so that you actually even appear in these AI overviews and AI mode. So in this video, I'm going to take you through the core settings that you need to get right. I'll then also take you through the product title and keyword structures which we are using. And then we'll actually jump into some real life accounts so I can actually show you how we build out different types of e-commerce campaigns. And then finally, we'll have a bit of a talk about when you should be using video and demand gen. Now, we're very much going to be focusing on Google Ads and what you need for success in 2026. But when it comes to success with Google Ads and your e-commerce brand, you not only need to be thinking about what's happening inside of Google Ads, but you also need to have the correct process with everything that you've got to do with your business and how you're interacting with your customers. And that's why we put together the complete playbook for e-commerce. So if you follow that link in the description below, you can actually see a free training where I not only take you through the practical components of how we build out a successful e-commerce campaign, but it also includes a workbooklet that you can work through at your own pace so that you can plan your winning account structure with Google Ads in 2026. If you want to get access to my complete e-commerce playbook for Google Ads, just follow that link in the description below. But right now, let's start with those core settings that you need to get right inside of your Google Ads account. So especially when you're starting Google Ads, or if you really want to start investing more inside of Google Ads, there are some core settings that you need to get right, because when you are ready to start scaling inside of Google Ads, you need to make sure that you've got the right conversion settings, got the right audience settings, so that you can actually get those results in the right way as fast as possible. There's a lot of settings you need to get right, but I'm going to take you through 5 really important ones. And the first one, making sure you've got your primary and secondary goals set up correctly. And then you also need to make sure you've got enhanced conversions set up. You also want to make sure that you're also collecting the right audiences right from the start of your Google Ads journey. And then finally, you want to make sure that you've got your brand list created and also negative keyword lists. And so you know exactly what we're talking about. Let's jump into a screen share so I can walk you through this. Okay, so now we're inside of our Google Ads account. Let's firstly go over to the conversion settings. And I'm going to take you through making sure you've got your primary and secondary goals set up correctly, and also that you've got enhanced conversions turned on. So the way that you want to go through and check this is if you go over to goals, then when you're in goals, if you go up to summary, and I also like to press one more button if you just go through and view all conversion actions. The one thing I want to show you in through here is that we've got 2 purchase conversions set here. You've got purchase from the site, and there's also an older WooCommerce purchase action. Now we've actually set that one to secondary. And the reason for that is because you need to really, really make sure with your primary and secondary goals, what the difference is. Your secondary goals, Google still tracks them, but it doesn't use it for bidding. So if we were to have both of these goals worked over, because there is some double reporting there, the data inside of Google Ads would actually be getting more conversions than what we're actually doing. So what you want to make sure, especially when it comes to conversions, so the actual transaction or purchase conversion, that you've only got one active one. Otherwise, you could be double reporting. And this is a common thing that we see for e-commerce brands. They might have a Shopify goal and a GA4 goal set up, and they're tracking both of them inside of Google Ads. It's okay to track them, just make sure you have one set to secondary and one set to primary. The other thing that we do want to go through and have a look at as well is inside of the actual conversion action, you want to make sure that you've got enhanced conversions turned on. What enhanced conversions are going to do is it's going to give you some more data about the actual journey, not just the last click. So that is something to keep in mind, especially as you grow as an e-commerce brand, and you might be using multiple campaign types, across YouTube, across the search network. So you need to make sure that you're getting that data. And the other thing that also as well is that we do like to set a longer click-through conversion window, especially if this is a product which is a little slightly more expensive. The reason why that is key is is because you want to make sure that you are getting, if someone clicks, if they click on your initial ad today, they've got up to the next 90 days to convert, and that data is still held within the initial click. One of the things that you would have heard potentially before is that when it comes to the conversion count, that you should have it set to one conversion, not every conversion. But this is not true for e-commerce. And the reason being is because with e-commerce, because there is actually a dollar value connected to it, it's okay to have every. And what this basically means is if someone was to buy through and can click today and then do a purchase conversion next week, and then also do another purchase conversion 30 days from now, that conversion value would still be attributed back to some of those initial clicks. All right, so that's the primary, secondary goals, and that's also enhanced conversions. Let's now talk about the audience data. And for your audience data, where you want to be going in through to here. To get into your audience manager, a great way of doing this is just go up to the search bar. You can go through the menu, but this is a great way of doing it as well. If you just type in audience, and you'll see here, tools, shared library, audience manager. And what you really want to be checking through here, you really want to be making sure that you're collecting some different audiences. The reason for why this is important is because later down the track, if you want to create an individual campaign just to target cart abandoners, or if you want to use your website visitors to create a lookalike audience inside of demand gen, you need to make sure that you are collecting this data. So you can see from here, we are going through, all converters, we've got over 1,000, all users, we've got over 16,000. So we're going through and collecting that data. Now, if you want to make sure that you've got this set correctly, if you go up and go to Tools, Data Manager, Connected Products, this is where you go through and make those settings. And you can see here that we've got our Google Tag, we've got our GA4, and we've also got Search Console and Google Merchant Center all connected, and they are collecting those audiences. So you just want to make sure that all of that data is in there. And then finally, you do want to go through and make sure you've got some brand lists and negative keyword lists. For this one, we can go into an individual campaign. The reason for why brand lists are important, especially for a e-commerce brand. This one is a Performance Max campaign. So we've added this exclusion list. So what you can do from here, new brand list, you can either not only type your own brand, but in this case, we've actually got some competitors in there that we don't want to appear inside of our Performance Max campaigns. So you can add this list. And then when you're in here, you just type their different names or URLs. And then what that does from there is that makes sure that it doesn't appear inside of your ads. Now, when it comes to keywords, we like to use a negative keyword list. The benefit here is that what you can do with the negative keywords, you can either individually add them to campaigns, or you can create a list and then you can just add that list across all of your campaigns. It just becomes a little bit easier to manage your negative keyword targeting. All right, so now let's get to the second most important thing you need to get right if you want success with your e-commerce brand with Google Ads in 2026. And what we want to focus on now is your product titles and keywords. So what I want to show you in through here, when it comes to your product titles, you need to remember that your product titles is the only keyword targeting that you can do for your shopping ads. So not only these are going to appear in your shopping campaigns, but also inside of your Performance Max campaigns. When it appears on the shopping network, the targeting is done inside of your product titles. For that reason, you want to really make sure that you don't want to be going down that path of just having a really generic product title like black shirt. You want to make sure that you're adding in this extra information so that Google can see as much information as possible. So you can see here, we use the example of, a black Egyptian cotton t-shirt, size large, comfortable fit. That's giving a lot more information to Google about what your product is. Now, the other things that you do need to remember is really make sure that when you are setting up your product titles, that you also think about these product attributes and anything that you can include in here. The real big thing I want you to think about is that sometimes you hear this saying less is more, but when it comes to the product titles and when it comes to especially your product attributes, more is more. And you really want to make sure that you're ticking off all of these things, that you're including the GTIN number, you've got that sizing details, the age group, the gender, the color, also make sure your price, the sale price options, all these different things. You want to just make sure that you're giving Google as much information as possible so that you can really help with the ranking. Now, this becomes super important, especially if you aren't the most well-known brand. By taking that little bit of extra effort to make sure that you've got the right product attributes, it is really going to help to supercharge the visibility that you've got with your brand and your placements for Google Ads. So that's the first thing, and that obviously affects your shopping ads. I also want to now, let's jump inside, and we'll keep doing this on the iPad. I'll show you inside of our real life Google Ads account to show you how we structure our keywords. When it comes to e-commerce, and this is the one thing that I do want you to think about, and you'll see this more as we go inside some live account structures in the next point. Generally now, when we're seeing our account structures inside of Google Ads, there's generally two types of campaigns we're running. running. We're either running Performance Max with some broad match keywords inside of a search campaign, or we're running Performance Max alongside shopping. And whether we use search or shopping as that supporting campaign, it really comes down to what's happening inside of the Performance Max campaign. Generally find a lot of the spend for Performance Max will go directly over to shopping. And we do find search works really, really well, especially if you've got a product which has some different variations or different variabilities. And then another reason for why we sometimes find we need extra shopping support campaigns is if you've got an e-commerce product which has a lot of super specific searches. And this could be, say, for example, we find it in like motorcycle repair, motorcycle parts or car parts, or I'm going to show you an example of a kitchen supply warehouse, because a lot of people search really, really specific, say, for example, pan sizes and even putting the part numbers there. We do find some extra shopping campaigns help there. But one thing I do want to show you in with this campaign is I just want you to note, we are finding that if you are using Performance Max and you are going to be using search as a support, we are finding that you get a better response and a better result with broad match keywords. The other thing I want you to think about with those broad match keywords is, where possible, we like to use 3 words. But what we use from here, and this what becomes really, really important, is the way that we continue to see success with this, and I'll just go back to the campaign level, is that this is where we leverage smart bidding to make sure that the search campaign is still performing on track, and the smart bidding is something that we use really, really well, especially with the target ROAS, in order to see the best results with our search campaigns for e-commerce. All right, so we've gone through the account settings that you need to have right inside of your Google Ads account. And remember, that's where we spoke about the conversion settings, the audience targeting, all of those things. And I've also taken you through your product titles, your product attributes. Now I want to really take you inside of 2 different e-commerce accounts, and I can show you how we structured these accounts together. And what I've done here is I've used 2 examples. This first example is where we've used Performance Max and search together. And the other example is where we've used Performance Max and shopping together. And I'll show you how we've done that and how we've kind of created together and how we've got to this place. And for this business, it's really, really important to note that they've got 2 very, very clear product categories. And this one here is product category 1, where we've got a Performance Max and a search campaign. And this is product category 2, where we've got, once again, Performance Max and a search campaign. What I want to show you in through here is that these campaigns really, really do complement each other really, really nicely. You can see this one's got the ROAS of 5.6, this one's 5.7. The reason for why we went down this path is because this business or this brand has some really big customizable options. So you can actually put monograms on these products. So it's for that reason that we actually call that out, and it responds really, really, really well to search. The other reason for that is because their Performance Max campaigns are pretty much above 90% is all, I think it's actually not 92, 93% is on the shopping network. So that's why we didn't need that shopping campaign. So we find that we get more than enough coverage because Performance Max is going pretty much wholly and solely on shopping, and then we're reaching the ads on the search network through some individual search campaigns. What we also do here is that this business does have rolling promotions, especially around key special events, because it's customizable. So things around Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, and Father's Day, and also Christmas. And it's when they come into there. So we also do have another, what we call a promotional campaign that we run in the lead up to each of those promotional windows. So the good thing of that is that's not a complicated setup. 2 core categories, aligning search, aligning Performance Max campaigns beyond the 2. Now we're going to move to a little bit more of a complex setup. And the reason for this one, even though I say it's complex, but it still is only using 6 different types of campaigns, but this one has well over 40,000, I think it's 50,000 different SKUs. And what we've got through here is that we do have a shopping campaign. What we've done with this one, with the shopping campaign, is we've very much aligned that around brand. And the way that we've done that is we've set the target ROAS up at about 2,000%, and that still works along really, really nicely for us. You can see here that it is producing some good revenue and some good levels. Now, the reason for why we've done that is that shopping campaign is very much setting some products where people are the high performing, or the products that this business is kind of known for. And that's why we've put them in there, because people are either searching their brand name or they're searching their product titles, which we know they're only ones that they stock. And that's why we've added in that extra higher target ROAS. Now, when it comes to the other Performance Max campaigns, which are these ones in through here, we've broken these out by their core product categories. Now, throughout this year, we think we will need to add out a couple more breakouts. And the reason why this is important for brands that have a lot of different different SKUs is what you generally do find is that Google will prioritize, the top performing 20 or 30%. So when we took on this account about 4 months ago, we started with one Performance Max. They had one Performance Max campaign. We've then broken out an extra 2. We were running some other ones, promotional campaigns as well. But you may be asked, why have we gone no search? And the reason for this is because they perform just on the shopping network. And the reason for that is because they've got very, very specific SKUs. So people will even search the individual SKU number. And the name of the game here is just making sure that our ads appear when people complete those searches. Now, the other reason for why we've gone with Performance Max over shopping, as I said, we do have a shopping working with it, but this is our main drive. And that's because we're seeing a lot better results with the continual remarketing running through with these campaigns. So that's 2 examples of some different setups that we've got inside. Other thing I will note in through here as well is that these Performance Max are non-branded. We hit the branded search. So we do have a branded search campaign, and we've also got that branded shopping campaign. So these Performance Max campaigns are very much just non-brand, and we've broken them by the main product categories. Now, the final thing that I did mention is you may be asking, when should you use things like YouTube or demand gen? Now, I believe that these are really, really important campaign types for e-commerce brands. But for most brands, this does not need to be the starting point. In fact, I think there's 3 real cases for why you should start reaching out to YouTube and demand gen. And they are, firstly, when you start to see your search and shopping campaigns maxing out, and that also includes Performance Max. What we mean by that is that you're just starting to see CPC prices increase too much. You increase your budget by 10%, CPC skyrockets by 20%, it becomes unsustainable. The second thing is that if you do have a product that you feel like you need some education. For example, you may be a more expensive product, but you've got a far better environmentally conscious profile, and you need to educate the audience about your product. Or the third reason is if you are starting to see some diminishing returns on Meta. So you might have, for a long time, seen great success with Meta, but as you add more and more budget there, you're just not getting the same level of results. And that's where we're seeing a great reason for demand gen. If you'd like to know more about that, you can actually go through and watch this video right here. I've got a whole video about demand gen and when you should be using it. And remember, if you want to get my complete playbook for e-commerce and Google Ads so you can see the best success in 2026, just follow that link in the description below. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.